Imagine giving your entire life to a religious cause. Decades of unpaid labor, unwavering obedience, no career, no pension, only to be cast out the moment your usefulness fades. Or worse, the day your spouse dies. Welcome to the world behind the kingdom hall doors. I'm doing this video based on the request by Anna from Jamaica and XJW. And here's the email that she sent to me.
Good day, congratulations on your channel. I'm enjoying all the content I've been watching so far. I would like you to do a series on what happens to long-time servers at Bethel when one partner dies. Do they stay in the compound or are they kicked out? Who pays for the funeral service since they are not salaried workers? And please find someone to interview from the community who can tell us about their practices for funerals. Thank you, Anna.
So I am doing a series of videos on this to be able to respond to Anna's request. I have thought about this topic, but not necessarily to do a deep dive into it. So this is part one. Part two will focus on retirement. What happens when you work for JW of sometimes 60 years plus? Here is a clip.
During my almost 77 years of full-time service, I have always experienced that Jehovah's guidance through the faithful slave brings joy and contentment.
How do they appreciate you and thank you for the service of loyalty and obedience? What I'm talking about here is not fiction, it is reality. This is the hidden reality of Jehovah's Witnesses' funeral practices and what happens when one of their own dies in disfavor. Tonight, we investigate the curious case of life, death, and erasure in the world of the Watchtower. Buried in silence, the untold witnesses' funerals. Welcome to Tell Me Dr. K, channel on which we discuss matters of theological nature, no matter how complex, difficult, or uncomfortable the topic might be. Because on Tell Me Dr. K, we don't shy away from any topic. Jehovah's Witnesses pride themselves on having no paid clergy. Instead, thousands of full-time volunteers dedicate their lives to the cause. Bethelites, special pioneers, missionaries. They live simply, take a vow of poverty, and work 40 to 60 hours a week for decades. In return, they are promised spiritual rewards, but never a salary, a home, or a retirement plan. The biggest question is what happens when one dies? Did the organization that they spent life working for honor them in dignity, or are they quietly discarded in death, just as they often are in old age? An anonymous ex-Bethelite said,
"You serve for 30 years, and if your wife dies, they give you a month, maybe less, to pack your bags and leave Bethel. They told a friend of mine, 'We appreciate your years of service, but your assignment is complete.' He was out in 3 weeks."
This coincides with the May 2025 broadcasting, which talked about a number of issues, but most importantly, talked about being prepared and what you can do to be prepared. And as far as Jehovah's Witnesses are concerned, being prepared just means doing Jehovah's work. Here's a clip. How are they going to care for the parents when they don't have the means to take care of their parents? If you have enjoyed this video, kindly do me one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you'll receive a notification. First, the parents themselves had no savings because they were told, once you just apply yourself, you commit your life to ministry, Jehovah will take care of the rest. No need for planning. So, but how? Here's the clip.
As I get older, who will care for me? Have you ever asked yourself similar questions? Has this uncertainty made you anxious or fearful? Such feelings can make it hard to think clearly. But these feelings can go away when we realize that we are well prepared. The Apostle Peter wrote his letters during times of trials and instability. And Peter, who was getting older, may have wondered how he and other elderly ones would be cared for later in life. He may have perceived that aging and declining health could create uncertainty and fear in some. What did the Apostle Peter recommend in view of future uncertainties? So did Peter tell the brothers and sisters to stockpile money or supplies? No. He encouraged them to strengthen their faith and trust in Jehovah. There are no uncertainties for Jehovah. He had promised to protect the Christians in the first century, and he would provide salvation.
Now, this video focused on not to be worried about what will happen in old age. And then there was a 2025 governing body update number 3, in which Mark Sanderson said they had a meeting with those that are 80 years and above, and they made a personal decision to actually step down and play a different role. Now, that is a language in JW meaning we fired them and they quietly obeyed. Here is a clip.
Here's another recent development. In March 2025, the governing body invited branch committee members 80 years of age or older to consider their circumstances. As a result, some of these dear brothers have made a personal decision that they will no longer serve as branch committee members. Let's hear from a few.
Old age sneaks up on you, and you don't realize at times the limitations that you have. So this was a way for the governing body to help us to just accept the reality of old age and the consequences.
I truly believe that this arrangement is an expression of Jehovah's deep love. Even if our assignments change in the future, regardless of what assignment it may be, will be an opportunity to enjoy our service while constantly thinking about pleasing Jehovah.
This is the answer to a prayer. We cannot keep up. Let somebody else, younger, stronger, do the job, and they're doing it.
It makes me very happy to see younger brothers now on our branch committee, and they're doing a great job. And I know allowing for other younger brothers to come in, it's going to help the organization.
It has helped me to appreciate do what you can, not what you can't do. And love it, follow Jehovah's direction, you'll always be happy.
The governing body deeply loves and respects these dear brothers. If their circumstances permit, they will continue to share in teaching assignments such as conducting morning worship, serving as branch representatives at circuit assemblies, and in giving talks at regional conventions.
The Watchtower headquarters, known as Bethel, is more than just a workplace. It's a community. It's a religious order. But it's also a temporary arrangement. When a married couple is assigned there, their service is contingent on both being active. The moment a spouse dies, the housing is no longer guaranteed. There are no long-term provisions, no housing extensions for widows or widowers. Many are just told to return to their congregation, often in their 60s or 70s, with no income, no home, no pension. Let's listen to what a former circuit overseer said.
I've seen it happen. A brother lost his wife, and within days he was reassigned. He had nowhere to go. The congregation had to scramble to find him a room. There was no funeral stipend, no housing support, nothing. Just Jehovah will provide.
Now, let's talk about the death of a disfellowshipped member. In death, not all Jehovah's Witnesses are equal. The faithful in good standing are granted a simple memorial at the Kingdom Hall. No eulogy, no flowers, just a 20 minutes lecture about Jehovah's promises. When we were young, we used to hear stories. Say, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't light fire. Because in my culture, when there's a funeral, because people have to stay there, some have to sleep there, some inside, some outside, Those who are outside, especially when it is cold, they light a fire. But here, Jehovah's Witnesses don't light a fire, no mourning, no people gathering, no singing. It's a death in silence. Their funerals are as silent as the graveyard. Here's what Jehovah's Witnesses' guideline on funerals is. Keep it brief, focus on Jehovah, not the deceased. But those who are disfellowshipped or excommunicated receive nothing, not even a dignity of a prayer. Here's a comment from Anna, who sent me an email.
Good morning, and thanks for your reply. One of the reasons I asked is because a disfellowshipped neighbour of mine died some years ago, and the family had to hold his funeral in an open field, or a football field. This was after he had suffered from cancer and died a horrible death. They are the most unforgiving set of people. What can the dead man's body do to the congregation? I believe a lot of people saw them from then on as a destructive cult. I also want you to look into it. This would be interesting. Anna.
Let's listen to what a religious sociologist said.
This is social death. Shunning continues even after physical death. It's punitive, and it leaves families humiliated and traumatized.
Jehovah's Witnesses are cruel. They are a cruel lot. They don't care about your feelings. The Bible they claim to follow is only applicable when it suits them. What about the story of a good Samaritan? Here's another question. If you're a full-time worker, unpaid, poor, who pays for your burial? The organization? Not likely. If you are in good standing, maybe. If not, good luck. An elder who says something like this: I'm sorry, but we cannot give a talk for someone who died disfellowshipped. It would be inappropriate. I actually watched a video from Jack when he attended a funeral of his friend who was very helpful, but had started to wake up, and he explains in detail what happened. Here is a clip.
Guys, I have to share something with you that it actually shook me a little bit. I attended the funeral of so-called an apostate, somebody who was a witness most of their life. I found out about the funeral. I was super curious about what's going to happen. Who will show up? Is somebody going to give a talk or not? If yes, then who? Which elder will go up on the platform and give a talk knowing that the guy in the casket was an apostate? That I was like, I need to see this. I got it. The time goes by. Nobody goes up there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour goes by. And nobody goes on the platform to deliver a speech. The car comes in to take the casket and nobody said a word.
In most religious traditions, a life of sacrifice is honored in old age. But for Jehovah's Witnesses, it can be a silent exit. One former JW said, they said I was family. But families don't throw you away immediately your spouse dies. Families don't ignore your funeral. The reward of a life of obedience? Silence. Is this just bad policy or a calculated system? One that incentivizes compliance through fear? One that uses death as a final form of discipline? Here is a letter from an ex-Bethelite.
We gave them everything. In the end, I had nothing. My wife's funeral was a formality. She was gone, and so was I.
Now this isn't just about doctrine. It's about power. Death not used as a moment to grieve, but as a tool to divide. A funeral should be a moment of closure, of love, of memory. But to Jehovah's Witnesses, especially the disfellowshipped and the widowed, it becomes a final humiliation. The faithful buried without dignity, the expelled buried without ceremony, the living left without support. When your faith denies your goodbye, what does it say about that faith? And what does that say about us if we remain silent? Subscribe for part 2, the retirement myth of Jehovah's Witnesses. That is one of the sad stories and events that come out of the Jehovah's Witnesses religion. If this video is opening up your mind, kindly do me one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you receive a notification. If you've never known what happens when a Jehovah's Witness dies, Now you know. I hope, Anna, you've watched this video and I've provided the details that you asked for. If you're a Jehovah's Witness, ex-JW, and you've had experiences of funerals that did not go well, kindly put the comments below. If your experience is different, you also put your comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, kindly do me one favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you'll receive a notification. To watch a video I did on the May 2025 broadcasting, click on this link. To watch part 2 of this video, click on this link. To watch other videos that I've done on JW Darkest Secret, click on this link.